Welcome to the football show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Alan Ruff, Alison McConnell and Tammy McManus are here with me on the show. Thank you very much for joining us. We've had a few technical issues on today's programme, but thank you for persevering if you are watching it at your leisure a little later than normal. But thank you for joining us nonetheless. Lots to talk about, including, of course, European football. Rangers with a point against Olympiacos, Hearts falling to Heidenheim, and Celtic back to domestic issues at Rugby Park against Kilmarnock. We'll also be asking whether Lawrence Shankland has completely lost his goal-scoring touch and whether this is the end of a long and winding road for James Tavernier at Rangers. Olympiacos won, Rangers won. What did you make of it, Ruffy?
Yeah, I think before the game, if Rangers were thinking they were going to get a draw, they'd have taken the draw. It's always difficult away from home in European football. We've said all along that they seem to do particularly well in European football. The players that they've got seem to adapt to it a lot better than what we do here. And I think the result, and obviously Dessers getting another goal, will give him a bit of confidence. So yeah, I think on the whole, they've got big games coming up, but they're not far away from getting the points that they want.
Yeah, Dessers he just had a fantastic opportunity, Tam. He's 5 yards out. He's got to score.
Yeah, it has. That's the frustrating thing about Dessers, Peter. I think the Rangers supporters, they see somebody that will score the goal that he did. It was a fantastic little chop inside and a great finish, and then he'll miss a sitter for 5-6 yards. Even the one he went through on the goalkeeper, which was probably borderline offside. No confidence at all to go and finish that anyway. He's a frustrating player, but he got Rangers a point last night, and he's capable of scoring goals. There's no doubt about that. And Rangers will be delighted to get the point. They've got obviously a tough game coming up against Nice as well away from home, so slowly but surely they're getting towards that maybe 10 or 11 point mark, Peter, which might get them a knockout game.
Yeah, this is what Philippe Clement had to say about the performance. The performance deserved more than the point, but it was a good performance. The team stuck to the plan for the 90 minutes. That's a major thing for our squad, to learn these lessons. We had it with the squad last season. They picked up this mentality of never giving up and digging in when the result didn't go our way, and that is the mentality I want to see every time. It's a strange thing. They look a better team, Ali, in Europe.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of a conundrum. I think, though, for Philippe Clement, he'll just be delighted that they've got through the last 2 games. They've taken a win over Motherwell. They took a good point last night in Greece. I think now he'll just be keen to build on that. I think it just helps to quell some of the noise that had been building up around Rangers, around his position. I think there'll just be a bit of relief to have come through them relatively unscathed, and now what he'll be keen to do is just build on those foundations across the next couple of weeks. Obviously this weekend there are games before the international week. It gives him a bit of respite, but I think he'll regard it as an opportunity now just to stabilise what has been a fairly difficult time for Rangers.
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, Tam, Nice and Tottenham on the horizon.
Yeah, 2 tough games, Peter. Obviously Nice away will be a tough one, and then Ange coming back to Glasgow. I think Rangers will be massive underdogs for that game. So they've got some tough games, but all you can do is keep winning, Peter. He needs to keep winning games, keep getting points in Europe and good performances. And as you say, keep the Nice ears off his back. And if he does that, then he might get some more time to build in January and build at the end of the season. So no, I think that it was a great result last night. They go into the Hearts game before the window, and they could possibly close the gap on Celtic again this weekend if results go their way. But yeah, he's just got to keep winning games, Peter, and getting points to keep the fans off his back.
Don't worry, Ruffy, I was just adjusting Alison's microphone there to make sure it was all working, because it's absolutely vital. Just in case you lose your way in the programme. From Rangers and their performance to Hearts, we were hoping off the back of Celtic's good performance. It is a good point for Rangers, and then you're looking to Tynecastle later on in the night, and Hearts, if you haven't got goal scorers, it's a real problem. I don't think Vargas is the answer, and if Lawrence Shankland isn't scoring goals, they're not getting goals.
No, that's very evident. I mean, even in domestic football, it's been the same all year. For a player to score that amount of goals year on year, you rely on him. Yeah, and you rely on him. If he's only getting one chance, he sticks it in the back of the net. That's not happening either. and nobody else is really contributing. But when you go into European football, if you're given chances, you've got to take them. You've got to put the visitors on the back foot, and that never happened. In the second half, they just grew in confidence and just said, look, if we get a goal here, we could probably see this out, which they did.
Yeah, this is what Neil Critchley made of it all.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, winning tonight would have helped. But I say, if we keep producing that level of performance, then we'll win games of football. The test for us is to keep showing that mentality, keep showing the same attitude, keep showing the ability that we showed on the ball as well. We produced some really good moves, good moments. The only thing missing tonight was the final bit.
Aberdeen have had to dust themselves.
Kobe's gone a wee bit too early there. He's just after the disappointment of Aberdeen losing in that semi-final. But we'll come back to Kobe shortly. As far as Neil Critchley's concerned, he's talking about the fact that the way they played, I mean, there was some... it was a good first half, Ali. Second half just lost it completely. Lost it to 2 balls into the box that they couldn't defend.
Yeah, and of course the second goal just coming so late on, I think too, when they committed to going and try and finding a leveller. But I think his point is correct. I just think they had nothing up top. I just think Lawrence Shankland looks like a shell of the player that you were seeing last season. I don't know if maybe he's really struggling for confidence now too, but I think there's just nothing coming in that final third. There's no menace, there's no sense of threat, and I think you need to be clinical in a game like this. You need to take your chances when you're getting them. You're not going to have a lot of chances. You're going to be up against a decent quality of opposition. And I think they badly missed an informed striker last night.
One goal in 17, none in the last 8. Tam.
Yeah, this must be the worst spell that I think goal scoring spell he's went through in terms of a drought in goals, Peter. He's always been pretty consistent in his career getting goals, whether that was at Ayr United or Aberdeen, St Mirren, wherever he's been, Dundee United. And now back at Hearts last season, probably at this time he'd probably maybe double figures. So, listen, I've been there, I'm a striker myself, less confidence about his bootlaces at the minute. He'll feel as if the goals are the size of a matchbox, and he just needs something to go in for him. But, 1 goal in 17 games for a guy of that stature who's scored maybe 60 goals in the last three seasons for Hearts is incredible, really. I think he's picked up 7 yellow cards, which as well, so he's getting frustrated, there's no doubt about that. But he's just got to keep getting in positions to score goals. But as Alison said, they're really, really lacking, because they played well in the first half last night, but they're really lacking someone to put the goal in the net, the ball in the net, like Lawrence Shankland was doing last season.
Could we say it's the style of play that they're playing different for last year? Is he getting... Every striker says, I need to get service, I need to get proper service. But he's not really a proper centre forward, is he? He's not a big guy who's going to go in and get crosses, he's going to bundle centre halves out the way. He needs that service, whether it's at his feet or he's good at turning or whatever, balls in for the wings.
It's much the same though when the season started. Under Stephen
last year
Smith,
he just seemed to be...
Kind of style.
Last year he seemed to be just making the goals himself. If I'm thinking of the Hibs game, he's turning something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that now.
I don't think... I just think when he's taking shots, he's just not... Some of them are just not going for him. Some of them are wide of the mark. I think he has to be perfectly honest with you, I think he just has to face up to the fact that it's just not working for him.
Yeah, I think last season so much it looked instinctive. I think there was just and also I think there are points where you get lucky, like sometimes everything you touch is going in, and then when you're low in confidence and you can't buy a goal, it's a converse. It seems as though it just won't go into the back of the net at all. But I think I do think he looks quite heavy. I think he looks physically
not as sharp as
he's
he should
maybe
be.
Not kind of where he was.
Transfer talk annoy him as well.
I don't know. I think it's gone now. I think you could maybe have argued that at some points last season in January, and then maybe again coming to the close of the season. But I think when the window closes and you know that you're there, I don't know if that's really a factor.
The other thing about this, I've been speaking to a couple of Hearts fans today, and they're of the opinion that if he goes, they'll not be overly bothered.
It's amazing, isn't it? At the end of last season, Peter, they were desperate for him to sign a new contract. This season, he's really, really struggled to score goals, and a lot of Hearts fans are getting on his back. And it's incredible. That's a football player. You need to be at it every single week. People soon forget what he done last season or previous seasons, Peter. It's what's he doing now, which isn't a lot. in terms of scoring goals, I don't think he looks fit either. I don't think he looks particularly sharp. And that's maybe an aspect of a lack of confidence. You know, you can feel that way. You can feel, you know, sluggish round about the box. So, no, I think that Lawrence needs a goal, Peter, to get yourself back in track. Because 1 goal in 17 games when he's a captain, he's a talisman, that's one of the major reasons why Hearts have struggled this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Elsewhere, you always look at some results, Ruffy, and you think to yourself, should they actually be in that European Conference League? Chelsea defeated FC Noah 8-0. It was a complete mismatch.
Yeah, and you're going to get that. You know, I mean, I know that the powers that be want every country to get a team in these competitions. You know, but sometimes there is a mismatch. You know, but certainly that you don't like to see teams getting beat 8-0. You know, but they'll say the experience of playing against Chelsea will be something that the players can build on and talk about it for the rest of their career and all that. But it's a difficult one. You know, particularly the name of some of the teams.
Yeah, well...
Drowning under a flood of goals.
Yes, Man United 2-0 against PAOK. And again, Amad Diallo looks a completely different player, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was poor up here, Peter, and it just shows you. I really like him. He's had a couple of loan spells that it's not particularly worked out for him, but he looks quality at Man United. 2 goals last night. Superb. Aye, took his goals well, and as I said, they'll just be looking forward to the new manager coming in. But yeah, you're right. So I think Chelsea are odds on to win that Conference League. You know, I've never seen that in my life. You know, a team that's odds on to win a tournament after in the knockout stages. But you look at some of the teams in the Conference League, and you think Chelsea should be winning that.
Yeah, elsewhere, you won't be aware of this, Ali, but Ruffy, from time to time as a goalkeeper, has said on countless occasions in the 12 years we've been here, when you're a goalkeeper and somebody hits a shot, you've just got to analyse, you know, it's such a good shot, I'm not really going to bother going for it. I'm just going to admire the shot. And that's what happened with Galatasaray's first goal against Spurs. It was an absolute raker into the roof of the net.
Yeah, that was a crazy game, actually. 3-1 down and then down to 10 men and then getting it back to 3-2. But yeah, I think...
that's handball. That's not crazy, that's the norm.
A lot of changes to that side last night as well. I think you can see where his priorities lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Top 4 is where everybody's looking to try and get into for the riches that it delivers in this new format. OK, give us your thoughts on Rangers. Good, hard-fought point in Greece. What do you make of the performance, interestingly enough, of the games that we're going to talk about domestically? We discussed there Lawrence Shanklin and his loss of his goal-scoring touch. James Tavernier didn't start in last night's game. It's Rangers against Hearts at the weekend, and you just wonder if we're now witnessing the last games, you know, the phasing out of James Tavernier, whether it be in the January transfer window or eventually in the summer, Ruffy.
Well, Clement is the only one that can answer that. You know, I think he's obviously decided that in a lot of big games he's been the one that's been in the wrong place at the right time. You know, and I think he's obviously... I don't think he's trying to put him under pressure by saying, look, you need to buck your ideas up. You know, I think he's had all the experience in the world. He's been their best player for the last 3-4 years. He's also been their top goal scorer. You know, I don't think that's helped him as well. He's not scoring goals anymore. You know, not at that extent. But no, I think Tam was saying he's got a testimonial at the end of the year, so I don't think it'd be foolish to leave before that. But no, I think it's been the warning's been coming. If you look at the games that, particularly the Celtic games where he's been caught at the back post, you know, just ball watching. Maybe Clement is the kind of guy who's going to say that you're not doing it my way, then you're not going to be playing. Yeah, well, the biggest problem with this, Tam, is quite simply when he's not scoring, that's a huge gap in the goals for column.
Yeah, as in obviously he's scored a lot of goals from open play, but majority of them from penalty kicks, and Rangers, you know, we laugh about it, penalty Rangers, but they haven't had many penalties this season, so he's not scored many goals. I just think defensively, Peter, you know, this season his legs have went, he's getting caught, you know, time and time again with runners across him, balls in behind. And I think that Philippe Clement's looking at it and thinking to himself, right, I've got two potential right backs. I could possibly play James a little bit further forward if we need a goal. They done it last night, they brought him on for the last 5-10 minutes, and you know, he's more comfortable, I think, going forward and just putting crosses in rather than having to defend. So, yeah, I think this will be his last season at Rangers. I don't think there's any doubt about that under this current manager. But you can't forget the service he's gave the club. He's been a fantastic player for Rangers, fantastic servant, but you know, time waits for no man, and I think that these time's probably up at Rangers in terms of his legs and his energy, and I think that Rangers have got more physical, more powerful players in that area now.
24 goals last season, Ali, 1 goal this season.
Yeah, I think it tells a story, as does the fact I think you make a decision to take your captain out of the team, and there's an argument to say that Rangers looked a bit more cohesive last night. I think that's probably an indication of just where Clement sees the future of the team and the direction in which it's going. But I would agree, I think when you take the goals out of it, I think that was one of the real strengths of his game, an extraordinary return for a full-back, and I think a lot coming from the penalty spot, a lot of set pieces too. But he also, last season, I think chipped in with a lot of very important goals that came at crucial points in games to maybe dig Rangers out of a hole. I just think you see his influence is waning.
Yeah, and of course, suddenly it's Rangers against Hearts. And Tam, crazily enough, when you look at the table, Dundee United and Motherwell, and where they are, you know, they could actually draw level with Rangers depending on how things go over the weekend. You know, obviously the goal difference would be taken into consideration, but Rangers against Hearts is, as we mentioned here, he's just got to keep on winning to stop people asking questions about the manager.
Yeah, he has, and to be fair to Rangers, their home record's been superb this season, not only domestically but in Europe. So they're a totally different kettle of fish. I think away from home they've been dreadful this season, particularly in the SPFL. So yeah, they just need to keep winning games, Peter. You know, just keep quieting the noise round about the club and round about the players. And you know, when you're losing games, things get, you know, dissected, and he's just got to keep winning. Hearts were decent last night in the first half, but they look toothless at the minute, Peter. They've not got a lot of goal threat, and I think Rangers should go and win that game comfortably at Ibrox.
Well, on that Sunday as well, Kilmarnock against Celtic, everything's just rosy in the garden. I mean, it's a week and then some. By the time they hit Kilmarnock, you know, the Celtic fans will have witnessed the demolition of Aberdeen and an unbelievable performance, you know, in midweek against RB Leipzig. I think, rightly so, some of the compliments that it's been coming Celtic's way from the European performance are well deserved.
Yeah, and you can see why they beat Aberdeen 6-0 with that performance. The way they moved the ball about at pace, you know, it's just a joy to watch. That's the kind of football even the neutrals want to see. You know, they want to see attacking football. They want to see plenty of goals, you know, plenty of action, and that's what Celtic gave in the European game. It was just a joy to watch for 90 minutes. I have to say they were very fortunate. There was Schmeichel save at 2-1. You know, two each. Might have put a different slant on it, but he made the save, and that's what he's there for. And they went on to win the game in the end, I thought, quite comfortably. And it's a fantastic result against a Bundesliga team who's second top of the league. It's a right eye opener for everybody else throughout Europe.
Yeah, and Brendan reckons there's more to come from this Celtic side. This is what he had to say today. You can't underestimate the confidence a win like that gives you, but there's still a number of improvements that the team can make. Derek's teams are always well organised, they're always super motivated, and they will always challenge you, and that's something that we'll be ready for, of course, in the match against Kilmarnock on the Sunday. But Celtic fans, it's one of those things now where the momentum and the way they went about their business and the way they played, I mean, the amount of people, I mean, even Neil Critchley was talking about it, and you know, players that have watched the game that we've spoken to who were looking and thinking, wow, you know, the way they played, the pace, the pressing, and of course the possession, which is king, Ali.
I think it was one of the great European nights at Celtic Park on Tuesday evening, and I think it would be the kind of game that a lot of Celtic supporters thought Brendan Rodgers was going back to oversee. I think that was the kind of progress he wanted to see in Europe. Celtic going toe-to-toe with a big European heavyweight on their own patch and coming away with that kind of performance. And I think it wasn't just the victory, but the manner of the victory. I thought it was a very bold performance, the way Celtic pressed, the tempo of the game, the energy of the game. I think there was a wobble. I think after Leipzig had opened the score, and I think there was 10-15 minutes where you could sense that Celtic were a bit uneasy before they really took control of the game. But yeah, I think there's a lot of delight about the performance, the result, but I think crucially it's now about, well, what does it mean in the context of this season? That leaves Celtic now in 7 points after 4 games. I think you would have to say it's a very plausible objective now to go and make it into the knockout stages and qualify, which I think Celtic would have been delighted about before a ball had been kicked in the Champions League this season.
Okay, of those 2 games, Rangers Hearts, how do you see it going, Ruffy?
Like Tam, I think Rangers will win this quite comfortably. I always say, you know, you're getting a team at the right time. I think they're getting Hearts at the right time. I think they'll be low after that, getting knocked out of Europe. I think Rangers won't be. They'll go along there, and the supporters will be, you would like to think, getting behind the team again, 100%. So I think it's going to be a long afternoon. I think Rangers could win this one 3-0.
Ali?
Yeah, I can't see past Rangers winning. I think I think they'll win on home soil. I think Hearts have been poor. I think they've been incredibly inconsistent. I know they had a bit of a bounce at first when Neil Critchley first went in, but I don't see anything other than a comfortable afternoon for Rangers.
Go on.
2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 for Rangers for me. Again, Peter, I was impressed with the midfield too last night in the middle of the park. I thought that Raskin and Barron in there were superb, and it looked as if they're forming a wee bit of a partnership now. And
maybe one of Raskin's best games for Rangers.
Yeah, I think that's been an area, and Barron, I think that's been an area where Rangers have been poor and weak, but those two seem to be forging a nice wee partnership in there, which will please the Rangers fans.
Okay, I'll go 2-1 Rangers, and Hearts in that bottom area, which is amazing that you see both Edinburgh clubs down there at the moment. I don't think anybody would have, predicted that when we were all looking at who was going to be in playoff and who was going to be in the relegation position. But they find themselves there. Can they get themselves out of it? Will there be a shock in that match? What about Kilmarnock Celtic? Can you see anything other than Celtic again battering on? On this forum, I can't see them losing any game domestically.
Yeah, no. I think if you're on Celtic to go the full season unbeaten at 20-1 at the start of the season, you're sitting quite happy there now. I'm not, but I know some people who are, and I think the Celtic will win this comfortably again. I just can't see any sort of shock here. I'll go for 3-0 to Celtic.
Were you a wee bit worried? Usually you take up a 20-1.
I didn't realise that. I'll tell you who is on it. Tam Cowan's on it.
Yeah?
Tam Cowan told me a couple of weeks ago that he didn't actually tell me at the start of the season. But he showed me slip, so he's up for a few quid if Celtic don't win.
Yeah, Ruffy, you see anything other than what are you going for?
3-0 to Celtic.
Wow.
I think Kilmarnock will make it hard for them. I think the 2 wingers, Kennedy and Armstrong.
Oh, is this a Kelly win for you, Ruffy?
No, let me finish. I think the 2 strikers will cause problems.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think Celtic have got too much in midfield and they've got too much up front. So I think they will win 3-1.
3-1. Yeah. Well, Ruffy never changes, does he, Ali? Honestly. A nice wee pat in the back and then hop on to that. 3-1, Ali?
Yeah, I think you've hit on evidence of what you've seen from Celtic in recent weeks. I think you have to go with a Celtic win and a comfortable win at that. I think the last time Celtic were at Rugby Park would have been the night they won the league last season. I think they blew Kilmarnock away last May. I think Kilmarnock, though, have caused them problems. Beat Rangers, obviously, a couple of weeks back too. However, I think Celtic are too strong. I think 2-0.
Okay, I'll go 2-1 to Celtic on that one. As far as the other matches on the Saturday to look forward to, you've got to look at Hibs against St Mirren. Ali was out there to find out what Stephen Robinson had to say today. He's had his problems over the last couple of weeks.
St Mirren take on a Hibs side who are propping up the foot of the table as they head through to Leith this weekend. Stephen Robinson hasn't had his troubles to seek across recent weeks. However, his issues and concerns now are on the park. Charles Dunn has been ruled out for 8 weeks with a tendon issue to give him a headache when it comes to defensive issues.
Well, Charles Dunn went a blow with Charles. We had him re-scanned and looked at, and he's going to be out 8 weeks with a tendon injury, which is a big blow to us, obviously, with losing defenders for numerous reasons.
Robinson has described the last few weeks as the most challenging of his career. However, as he looks to get back onto winning ways on the pitch, he has said that he's keeping it under wraps who will be in charge of penalty duties for St Mirren after recent misses from the spot.
Yes, we have, but I'm not telling you. So yeah, the penalties are a difficult thing. You know, it's a little bit of a lottery. Anybody that stands up and takes them in a pressure cooker situation, I take my hat off to. It's something that's a specialised job. We've had a little bit of misfortune with it in terms of not converting them, but it happens. That happens all over the world. The best players in the world miss penalties. So we'll step up, and whoever steps up will be confident they'll score.
He's one of those managers who'll be coming in the morning just praying that there's no further problems in the background with his team, injuries as well to deal with. This really has been a testing time for him. 1 win in 6, but still in not a bad position in mid-table for St Mirren, despite all the things that he's had to deal with. And they're against a Hibs side, 1 win in 12, and a team that just can't put other teams away.
Yeah, and that's been an issue all season with Hibs, Peter. I think that I read a stat the other day that if they'd not conceded those late goals, they'd be, I think, level with Rangers in 3rd place. So, it's really cost them a lot of points this season. I thought they were unlucky last week. We've spoken about it this week anyway with the penalty kick against Dundee United. But you've got to go and put teams away. I think Hibs have scored 10 goals in 11 games. It's not good enough. It's not enough goals, Peter, and it puts pressure on your back line. Puts pressure on them to keep clean sheets, and Hibs haven't been able to do that. So, the Hibs fans are scunnered at the minute. They just want to see the team winning games, a part in the play. For me, it's not about that. It's just about winning games, grinding games out, Peter. And this is a game that I don't think David can afford to lose. I think that the pressure is on him big time now. Hibs sitting at the bottom of the league, and it's not just after a couple of games. It's now 11 games. So they need to go and win this game. I think they will. I think they'll beat St Mirren 2-1. But I think it's going to be edgy and tight again, and hopefully Hibs can just see a game out for once.
1-1.
Got to win it. He can't lose it. He's in the situation now that
Can't lose it. If he loses it, is it the end?
I think if he loses it, the fans will turn. The fans will turn. I think the fans have sat in there. They've been bearable with the Hearts game and some of the other games, and they've seen that they're playing okay but not winning games. But I think against a team like St Mirren at home, if they were to beat, say, 2-0 or something like that, I think the fans will turn. I really do.
I think it's breaking point.
Yeah, I do. If they get beat, I hope they don't get beat, obviously, and I think they will win it. But I'm just saying, if they get beat, I think we're now in the situation when, as Tam said there, a lot of the fans are not happy with what's happening, and a defeat at home would just make that worse.
Is it breaking point for you, Tam?
Yeah, possibly, Peter. I think that the supporters, as I said, I think they were quite happy with the performance last week. You were at the game. I think Hibs deserved to win the game. They put a lot into the game, a lot of effort. You can see the players are trying for the manager. But at the end of the day, you can't be bottom of the league. And we've spoke about, you've got to give Hibs managers time. They've went through a succession of managers, Peter, but at the same time, you can't be bottom of the league. And something's got to give, and it's usually the manager. So I'm hoping and praying that Hibs can get 3 points. I think they will. I think they'll get a win tomorrow.
I've got 1-1, Ali. What you got?
Yeah, I'm inclined to go with a similar scoreline. I think it'll be a draw too.
Okay, Dundee United against Ross County. Roughly no wins in 3 for United, 2 draws in the last 2 games for County.
No, I think County are very, very good at home. You know what you're going to get when you go up there. They have been a bit stuffy away from home, and you're thinking they're going to get something out of it, but they don't. I think Dundee United, are on the verge of doing something. They look as if they could go on a wee run, and they'll be expecting to win that game at home, and I think they will.
Yeah, Dundee United to win.
2-1.
2-0 for me.
2-1.
2-1 Dundee United, yep.
Right, okay. Motherwell against St Johnstone. Well, Motherwell, after the disappointment of losing to Rangers in the Cup semi-final, Stuart Kettlewell is all about bouncing back.
I think any game of football is an opportunity to bounce back, not specifically St Johnstone. I've watched them a couple of times since Simo come in to take charge. I think they've completely changed. Totally different type of football from what we've been used to. That presents its own challenges, but I can genuinely tell you that we're just desperate to get back out and play a game of football. You want to put that disappointment behind you as quick as you possibly can.
Stephen O'Donnell out until December, which is a real blow for them. Everybody, week in, week out, day in, day out, the speculation over Lennon Miller. He reckons he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he'll just focus on what he has to do. Motherwell, if they win that game and Rangers didn't beat Hearts, they would be up there.
Yeah, they would.
With them.
I think Motherwell's a good start to the season. I think they're sitting in 5th at the minute with 16 points from 10 games, decent return. Particularly when you look at some of the bigger clubs down the bottom that are struggling. So, I think Motherwell at home, you know, they're pretty tough to beat. St Johnstone, I've been impressed with Simo Valakari since he's come in. As Stuart said there's a different way of playing. You know, they're playing with the two strikers and Nicky Clark just off them. They're pretty positive. I thought they were unfortunate last week not to get a point against Hearts. I thought the second half they created a lot of chances. Kim PAOK and Sedebi are a handful for defences, so I can see goals in this game. And maybe a score draw, maybe 2 each for me, but I think it will be an open game and a good game to watch for the neutral.
2-1 Motherwell.
Yeah, I think Motherwell will bounce back. I know they'll be disappointed at losing last week, but they'll take a wee bit of encouragement out there. They gave as good as they got for a long part of that game. So it's a home game, so I'm going to go Motherwell to win 2-1.
Ali?
2 each.
Can I ask you, do you get the feeling that this is because, you know, I think Tam rightly praises Simo Valakari, and Ross County at home are difficult to beat. Do you get the feeling that we're in for one of those stings in the tail at the bottom end again, with a team going down that really the Premiership could do without going down?
In terms of a Hearts or a Hibs, or no, I think they've got too much. I still think it'll probably be, for me, I said I think at the start of the season Ross County and St Johnstone. I would probably still stick with that, although I've seen a wee bit of St Johnstone in recent weeks since Valakari went in, and I think you can see what he's trying to do. You can see the system they're trying to implement. I watched them against St Mirren. I thought they might have taken something from the game. I think they might just edge away from the bottom end of the table, but I don't know if they've got enough just to avoid being in that position between now and the end of the season.
Okay, talk about bouncing back. I wonder what's happening up in the city of Aberdeen. Here's Kobe Henderson.
Aberdeen have had to dust themselves down from that 6-0 defeat in the semi-final to Celtic on Saturday, and it's back to league action where Aberdeen still remain undefeated as they take on Dundee on Saturday. Jimmy Tulline insists that defeat's already behind them.
It's not always easy, but that's a skill you have to work as a player or a staff or a coach or manager. Of course, you have to take learning points and analyze the game, but you have to move on. It's a new game around the corner, and you have to put the focus on the right things. And that's the only way to be better, is to how you improve from these games, and also. But then it's another then the league, another 3 points to compete about, and so you have to move on, and that's I think it's one of the most important things. Even if you win, you have to move on. If you lose, you have to move on.
The Aberdeen manager also shared what he's expecting from Tony Docherty's side tomorrow.
And they have a late winner last game also, so they're they are strong in what they're doing. They are good in some directness, how they play, but also how they try to arrive in crosses, transitions. So they have a lot of good things we have to think about, and you should stay humble and respect the opponent and the coach Tony. So for us, it's more about adjust some things what we have to do. We can't change what they are doing, so we have to focus on ourselves, but know what they are good at and also where they have weakness. And as usual, try to improve some parts and play with that energy that Pittodrie gave us.
Aberdeen take on Dundee at Pittodrie. Kick-off is at 5:30.
And it's another sellout. Great credit to the Dons fans. They're still turning up in great numbers. It was only, as many people have described it, as a blip on the road. It's certainly a great learning curve for the manager and maybe the players. I wonder what reaction they'll get from them. Do you think they'll be hurting from it, or just maybe, as the manager said there, there's a long way to go?
Yeah, I think they will be hurting of it. Nobody likes to get beat 6-0, particularly in a semi-final. But this is when the manager earns his corn, that they'll... I think he said they were going to come in the next day and have a wee chat about it, but I think the rest of the week will all being a wee bit light-hearted, playing wee silly games, just getting everybody sort of at the back of their mind, get it out of it and look forward to the game. And I think they're back to where they were now. They're beating these teams that they're coming up against, and I think it'll be the same at the weekend.
Yeah, when you come off the back of a hefty defeat, Ruffy, did you and the lads, were you able to put it to the back of your mind and go out and just play silly games and have a...
You went to the pub. You went to the pub.
Silly games. When I say silly games, I mean footballing silly games.
Yes,
wee games about the training, things like that. A wee bit of banter, a wee bit of light-heartedness, and then as the game comes up on the Saturday, you get a lot more serious. But I think he's got enough professionals in his team with a bit of experience to get them through it.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if he got. I know you're laughing right away, wondering.
Yeah, exactly. Cormac Park.
I just wonder about the. I mean, I think it's a blip in the road. I thought he. I mean, who are we to talk about tactics? I can still remember many a manager battering me over the head with it. I thought Aberdeen should maybe have gone a bit more cautious.
Yeah, I think so, but it's done. I think it was a fairly sobering afternoon for them at Hampden, and maybe just all the more so because he'd gone with a bit of optimism and a bit of hope. And I think what they found was a Celtic team who just turned up on their A game. I think they swept them aside. I'm struggling to remember a shot on target from Aberdeen, but I think they'll know. They're not going to be judged on games against the likes of Celtic this season or that kind of performance. Where they will be judged is across the course of the campaign. They remain unbeaten in league duty. I think what Jimmy Tilleen this week will have been doing would have been reinforcing all the positive messages from the opening couple of weeks of the campaign, reinforcing all the things that they've done well, the things that have worked for them, the progress that they've made in a very short space of time. And it's almost about, you have to consign the weekend to the back burner. It's a one-off, it's an isolated game. I think the focus is on stick to what you've been doing, the way that you've been playing. It's another full crowd at Pittodrie. I think that's a fourth successive game that they've sold out. You have the backing of a huge support, you have the energy of the town, you can feel them all behind the team, and I think he'll be saying just go out, get back on it, go back, stick to what you've been doing. It's the same principles applied and just get back to winning ways.
And let's not forget, Tam, they're 9 points ahead of Rangers.
Yeah, they are. I think you'll be able to tell Peter early doors. I think the first 10-15 minutes of the game, I think you'll be able to tell if Aberdeen come flying out the traps, get an early goal, or just, force corners and get shots at goal, you'll think, right, they forgot about last week. If they come out slow and sluggish, you'll maybe think there was a wee bit of a hangover for last week, maybe a bit of confidence has been dented in there in the squad. And Dundee will be upset that they lost the game at Dens Park. I think Tony Dockett, if I can remember rightly, thought that Aberdeen are a wee bit fortunate to get the win
late goal,
at
was
Dens
it?
Park. I think they get the late goal. So, yeah, I think you'll be able to tell early doors, but I just think Aberdeen at home sell out. I think they've got enough to beat Dundee, but I don't think it'll be a whitewash. I don't think they'll batter them. I think it'll be a tough game, and I think Aberdeen might nick it 2-1.
Even losing one of their best players, Dundee, they're still able to turn things around against Kilmarnock, and it was a wee bit of sweet revenge. And Dundee are well placed this season in that table.
Yeah, they are, and it was a big result for them because, as you said, Kilmarnock done that to them earlier in the season at Dens Park. 2-0 down, come back and win 3-2, and Dundee will, to come from 2-0 down and win a game is difficult. I think they'll take great confidence from that going up to Pittodrie, but I think Aberdeen might just edge it, but I think it'll be a close game. Dundee have got some good players in the team.
Prediction?
2-1 Aberdeen.
Okay, I'm going to go 3-1 Aberdeen. Ali?
2-1 Aberdeen.
2-0 Aberdeen.
2-0 Aberdeen. Okay. As ever, hope you enjoyed the football show. Slightly shorter version. We had a few technical problems, which for the people who like to join us on a live situation, as ever, because they always like to cane us, Ruffy. And we like a wee bit of banter with that. Hopefully that'll return to normal on Monday. We've got a lot of good guests coming up for you next week. Of course, it's Tam's favourite week because it turns to international football.
Dire.
And Tam...
Dire, man.
And Tam just goes on a downward spiral. But hopefully, with some of the special guests and the features we've got coming up for you, you'll enjoy the content next week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and join the football family as ever. And you can get the women's football show. You'll get, of course, the journos. And let's not forget some great one-to-ones to look forward to. So with that in mind, thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Ali, thanks to Tam, and from myself, Peter Martin, thank you for listening and watching.